and I am going to tell you a few stories. This all started because I was quite shocked to discover on YouTube that there's this thing about just telling stories. And so I've watched a whole bunch of them, and they're such pretty girls. And sometimes they'll put their makeup on while they're talking, and they'll tell all of these really great stories. And I thought, I've lived a lifetime. I can tell all kinds of stories. So this is my first one. If you have any feedback, any thoughts on what you'd like to hear about or how I can do things better, please let me know. So first I want to tell you the story of dating as an adult online. So I've been married twice, and I had 10 years of being single in between my husbands. And I had some really interesting things happen to me while I was dating online. The one that I always laugh about is this next one. So I was online on a couple different sites, and I was connected with this one guy, and I was a little bit intrigued because he was an author, and I've published 3 books, but I have not had none at that point that were published. And so I was very intrigued by this, and I thought we would have a lot in common and lots to talk about, and I could learn stuff from him about how he got his book published. So we made arrangements to meet at a local coffee shop, and so I always had this rule where I would try and get there before them so that I could see them come in, so that I could choose where I was sitting and who could see me and stuff like that. Just for safety's sake, quick exit, know where all the exits are, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm sitting there and he walks in, and on his profile, it was just his picture of his face. And he was a nice enough looking man, and you reach a certain age where there has to be an attraction, but at the same time, it doesn't have, the person doesn't have to be Hollywood. So anyway, he had looked like a decent looking guy, and so he walks in. So I recognized him, and his picture was accurate and whatnot. But whenever I would get ready for one of these dates, I didn't go all out, but I also, you want to kind of put your best foot forward. You kind of want to set a good example, kind of give them a little bit of your better side. So you do spend a little bit of extra time on your makeup. You wear a nice shirt. You might still wear jeans or whatever you usually wear, but you just make sure you check for extra threads and all of that kind of stuff. Well, this guy walked in, and he was wearing a pair of jeans, and I believe it was a jean top, tucked in with a big belt. His shirt looked like he had slept in it. He was wearing old pair of shoes that had running shoes that had been through I don't know what, but they were definitely his everyday shoes that had been through a lot. So very disheveled looking. And I kind of thought, could you, just put a little bit of effort and make it seem like you're interested in putting your best foot forward. But okay, whatever. So he sat down and we started talking, and he seemed a little bit anxious, like he was wanting to get the date over and done with. So I thought, okay, well, there's no connection, whatever. But before he left, I wanted to make sure and talk to him about his book. Well, I didn't have to bring it up because he produced one, a copy of his book. And now, bearing in mind, this is before print on demand and Amazon printing and stuff like that. But he produced this book, and he started telling me what it was all about. But he wasn't just telling me what it was all about. He was like giving me a sales pitch about what a great book this was and how it would change my life. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's just socially awkward. So I just sat there and I smiled and whatnot. And then there's this lull, and he then confirmed what I thought was happening. He slid the book across to me and he said, "So they're only $12. Would you be interested in purchasing one?" And I realized that, his MO, his reason for being on these dates was not to make a connection with anybody, it was to sell books. Now, I'm a nice, polite woman, and I was a bit stunned. I paid the $12, and I have to tell you, it wasn't a very good book. So, anyway, that was the time I went on a date and got sold a book. So that's just one of my little stories. If you stay tuned, the next one I'm going to be telling is about how I worked with an embezzler. So stay tuned and check it out.